With so many different updates and content being added, it's been a confusing decision on when the right time to jump into Final Fantasy 15 was. The Royal Edition intends to fix that problem, offering the definitive version of the game, including all of its Season Pass content, bug fixes, tweaks, as well as a collection of new features and bosses to face. Having already played the previous Season Pass episodes and covered most of them on this channel, this video will just be looking at what's new with the Royal Edition. Starting off with the small things, the Regalia Type D, being the off-road version of the car, now has an additional quest to complete various racetracks in order to receive an upgrade to strengthen it. The races themselves aren't particularly compelling, but they do incentivize you to use the buggy car for off-road traversal, integrating it further into the game rather than just feeling like a later addition. This feeling of integrating new elements goes further by now having books and other information being discoverable throughout the world to further explain the myths and lore of this universe. Like most of the content that has been added, Square Enix's goal has been to add new features that address the complaints that fans have had, such as not fully fleshing out the story and its characters, and thankfully with the Royal Edition, the game is finally at a point where this no longer feels like the case. Although seemingly not much in terms of what it offers, being able to sail the open seas of Eos on the Royal Vessel makes the world feel more explorable and connected than before. Heading out to fish in hotspots full of rare greens to discover new recipes, or simply to hang out with your friends and take photos, adds to the atmosphere of the game and builds a strong connection with the four main characters. Returning to play this content isn't the most exciting thing to do, especially if you've already experienced everything else, but they do feel like a worthwhile addition for when new players start this game. For players who've already done everything, Insomnia is where the real fun is. Essentially, Square Enix has completely changed the section of the game, and so you're actually required to play the entire chapter again in order to consume its new content. Straight away, there's a huge improvement in just the overall size of this area. In the original release, this section was mostly linear, but had you facing off against some big bad guys and bosses. With the ability to now further explore this location, it just feels more fulfilling, and the new banter between Noctis and his friends add to the importance of Insomnia. The Insomnia isn't just bigger though, it also has visual changes with balls of fire lighting up its destroyed city, and new music plays as you explore and defeat bosses. There are additional story moments to fill in some of the missing pieces, all feature characters who just disappeared originally and were only mentioned with offhand comments. Not everyone you may want to see shows up, but you definitely get some awesome moments for those who do. Additionally, it is possible to complete side quests that have you taking photos of the monuments of ex-kings of Insomnia, shutting down Niflheim bases, and even hunting monsters with your character from the Comrades multiplayer expansion. Encountering a multiplayer character is very cool, and creates an excellent tie into the multiplayer that further connects all aspects of the Final Fantasy DLC content. Finding Insomnia's new bosses is the best part of the Royal Edition, featuring iconic Final Fantasy monsters such as Omega and Cerberus. Omega is an extremely tough fight, full of one-hit kill moves, huge HP and defense bars, as well as special attacks making him invincible for short periods of time. With Final Fantasy 15 being a relatively easy game overall, it's great to see the addition of challenging boss fights that actually need you to think about strategy, like the special fights in the episode DLCs, as well as the high-level Comrades missions. It's unfortunate this is the only boss encounter really meant to test high-level players, but the others are still interesting to fight and have some of their own unique aspects. The Rulers of Yore are epic battles not only because they look cool and tie into the overall history of Insomnia, but also because they have moves that see you needing to swap control between characters to defeat them. Having to become Gladius or Prompto connects their separate abilities together and creates an enjoyable excuse to integrate them into combat. Also, by obtaining all Armature weapons, you can now unlock Armature Unleashed, that grants Noctis some extremely powerful and visually spectacular moves, justifying the reason to collect them all. All these little changes and additions present the complete Final Fantasy 15 experience that ties everything together in a fulfilling and entertaining collection. Though it is likely to grow with more multiplayer content and an entirely new season pass, it feels like this is finally the version of the game that fans wanted from the beginning. I personally love the changes to the Insomnia section of the game, and feel that alone justified the asking price for this expansion. For those who have not picked up Final Fantasy 15 for whatever reason, then the Royal Edition is an easy recommendation over the original to experience Noctis and his friend's journey to take back their fallen kingdom. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this look at, then please check out our other videos for more gaming and geeky content.